Welcome to Swinburne University, Database Analysis and Design, INF10004. This is the oral presentation of Alvi, Hossain, Safri, Himalya, and my requirement questions are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And in the requirement, all of the questions, I have to cover it up. ERD diagram to reference list. I have covered it up in the table of content. There is 6%. I am covering up. Okay, so in the ERD diagram first of database, what we have to know that what is ERD. So first of all, is a basic information. As I can say, ERD is full form of entity relationship diagram. In the base form of that, ERD is a graphical representative of a table of a charts. Okay, so in the representative of that, you can say the entity relationship model is graphical representative and depicts relationships among people, objects, places, concepts, or events within information technology system. So as the basic information, you can see there is two table, subject and lecture. There is the subjects and the lectures are two entities, and there have three attributes of the subject table and three attributes for the lecture id, lecture name, and age. And for all of this graphical information as a table is a graphical chart that's called erd diagram. Okay, then for covering up the question number one, requirement number one, I have to know that what is cardinality. Okay, in the database, cardinality is used representative the relationship between the data and two different tables by highlighting how many times specific occurs compared to others. Basically, it's a relationship between two tables. Okay, in short of that, in the two entities, subject and lecture, you can see there's a bridge, and here is you can say for this sign you can say the must, and for the circle sign you can say maybe. So one subject must be converted for one lecture, and if the circle is one subject may be converted for one lecture. Okay, so for covering up the requirement for first one question, this is the scenario of the whole uh, the ERT. And first of all, this is the I'm gonna explain that this is a many-to-many relationship, and for this many-to-many relationship, there is a two strong entity, worker and tasks, and a double box like is a allocation table is a weak entity. Okay, then for of this many-to-many relationship, one worker may allocate for many tasks. One worker may allocate for many tasks just because the circle sign, and all workers must have worker id. Just because worker id is a strong entity, it should have to be a worker id, as well as for the task, and it should have to be a task id as a primary key. Okay, so many worker may allocate for one task. Many worker, as is a many-to-many relationship for this class sign, and may work for one task. So in the English statement of fifth, you can say allocation can have null values. Okay, as the allocation table is a weak entity, it just only have one attribute, hourly rate, and it covered it up. The worker id primary key, worker table primary key, worker id, and task table primary key, task id would be allocate here as a foreign key, and it would have null value just because it's a weak entity, and null value means the unknown value. That's not the zero, that's not unknown value. So for the covering of the second question, we have to know that the drop table. Okay, so drop table means a statement is a formula of drop table, that drop table and table name. If in the SQL Junior Oracle, there have we are gonna creating which a table, and each table as previously have in the Oracle previously saved that Oracle. So drop table statement that delete the previous same name table, like even the Oracle SQL Junior, if there have a table of if there have saved table of tasks, if I given the statement of drop table tasks, then the previous table would delete it and the new create table would be work. Okay, so the for the requirement to drop table manager time log allocation worker and tasks, it would be work. And the third question is related to create table statement. This is the formula of create table. Create table name, column 1, maximum length, column 2, primary key, foreign key. Okay, so first we're gonna go for the examples, like create table worker. If for the this is the representative scenario, like we have to create the worker table. So in the worker table, the attributes are worker id, worker name, worker gender, year service, and status. And the task table, or task table description, category tab. And there is the primary key is worker id. Task table has the primary key of task id. So you can see that create table, worker id, worker name, gender, yearly, year service, status, and the primary key is worker id, as I mentioned that. And you can see there is a name, number, birth. These are the size, maximum size of this particular statement, or this particular column. Okay, then the create table, just for number, sorry, tax number, tax id, tax description, category tab, and the primary key is tax id. And those are the worker id and tax id primary key will be allocated in the week entity. And you can say as a foreign key is in the allocation table, worker id, tax id, and primary key is worker id, tax id, and the foreign key would be allocate worker id references from the worker table, tax id references from the tax table. Okay, then for insert, then the next requirement is insert statement. Okay, so in the statement, we have to written all the information what we gonna showing up in our table. Like in the insert, this is the formula of insert statement. Insert into student, like if I have the student table, then the whole name or number of the student id, primary key, and the all type and values are 100 gym, all of the values. Okay, so insert into worker, worker id, name, gender, status, yearly service. Then values should be 1 plate, international 2, 1 plate. See, okay, then the tax for the tax id, tax description, category type, and the values would be there. And for the allocation table, it will work for the as same as the previous one. Then the last requirement is testing check constraint condition. Okay, so these are the two conditions are here. So which I've written previous in the previous chart, that these are the two conditions for the SQL. And you can see that the allocation rate check condition is hourly rate should not greater than 299. And if the hourly rate, if we insert any information like hourly rate of over 299, it would not be selected, or it would be rejected by the SQL Junior. Okay, Oracle. And yeah, there in the requirement 7 question, you can see that 500 and 399 are the hourly rate inserted, and these are the information rejected. Here you can see the screenshot of this rejection. So this is all of my oral presentation. This is the reference listed, which is gonna covering from the database analysis lecture notes. And thank you for watching all of the chart and information of oral presentation. Thank you.